Hello, and welcome everyone to the Two Raccoons in a Trench Coat podcast. I'm your co-host for this evening, morning, or afternoon session, some guy with a microphone. And today I have two very fun guests with me in the studio. Please say hello.
Hello.
Hello. Great. I think we timed that unintentionally perfectly. To where we said it at the same time.
Not on my end.
Oh, of course. Well, let's get into it right now. There's going to be some delay in this episode, I think. So that's going to be fun.
Don't worry, that's our editor's problem.
Yeah, screw you, editor. Have fun with this later, you jerk.
Yeah.
We're not paying you this month.
Wait, that guy gets paid?
Gets paid?
we-
You guys are getting
Wait,
paid?
some guy with a mic, can we have a little mini office meeting real quick?
Oh
Step
yeah,
into
sure.
my
What's up?
office? Have we been supposed to be paying him like from the start? Because I don't think I've sent him any checks.
He doesn't even speak English.
Oh, so we're good then. We can get away with it, right?
I mean, yeah, I think he just does it for fun.
I mean, the only thing I've ever heard him say is "agua, por favor, agua." But
It's weird because he lives in Vietnam.
yeah, that would be weird. All right, we're
No one's gonna
fine
get
then.
this reference. Anyway,
All right, I am some guy with a hat. Thank you for joining us for this episode. As you have heard previously, we have just Matt joining us again. Just Matt, how you doing?
I'm doing all right.
Great.
Yeah,
All right. We've got some trivia questions to get into this episode. Are y'all ready?
I do believe
Ready.
so.
Yeah.
All right. As per usual, we'll have our guest go first. Some
Mhm.
guy with a mic, I'll ask you to step out of our office and I will call you back in when we are finished.
I shall. All right, getting up, setting down. As you can see, I'm now leaving the studio, and I've left the studio.
All right. Are you ready for this
I am
round
ready.
of trivia? Okay.
Yeah.
As always, your time starts after I ask the first question. Question number 1. True or false? Sound can travel through space.
False.
Ellen Ripley is the last survivor of what star freighter?
Oh, Jesus. It's not the Nostradamus, is it? I think it's the Nostradamus.
Who designed the alien in Alien?
Some weirdo named H.R. Geiger.
Humanoid robots, such as Ash and Bishop, are known as what designation of technology?
Synths. Like in Fallout.
What planet did the distress call originate from? All right, pausing time. I'm going to reread that for you.
Sure, that's fine.
What planet did the distress call originate from in Alien?
Centauri 5. I don't know.
All right.
I didn't know there was
time.
one, to be honest.
All right. How do you feel like you did?
Fine, except for that last one. It's been a
All
bit
right.
since I've seen the first Alien.
I'm going to text our co-host. Get him back in the studio.
What a wonderful break we had there. Always good to hear from our sponsors. Now then, just Matt, how do you think you did?
Okay, except for the last one.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Good. Well, good news for you. I'm probably going to get at least 0 right.
Have you seen the thing that we're talking about?
That's to be determined.
Okay.
Depending on how well I do on this trivia
I guess
score.
we'll see.
We'll tell
Chekhov's,
whether or not I've seen it.
Chekhov's.
Gun.
No, I was trying to say franchise, but whatever. All right. You ready?
Would it be Schrodinger's franchise?
Maybe, probably. That's
Depending on if it's
probably
been
the one that would
observed
have
or
made more
not,
sense.
then it's yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
I can get a gun if we need a gun. Hold on. I have one.
What was the gun? What was the Chekhov's gun? Do you know? I never thought
Yes,
about that.
so Chekhov's gun is literally a gun.
Well,
And the idea
I
is
know
that
I know what it is, but like I'm assuming it's because the Chekhov, the writer, had that like in a story or whatever. But like, what was that gun like specifically?
Oh, I have no idea.
Oh, all right, never mind.
All right. The trivia.
All right. Question number 1, true or false? Sound can travel through space.
False.
Ellen Ripley is the last survivor of what star freighter?
The SS Galaxy.
Who designed the alien in Alien?
That would be Steven Spielberg.
Humanoid robots, such as Ash and Bishop, are known as what designation of technology?
Androids.
What planet did the distress call originate from in Alien?
That would be Omicron Persei 8.
Right.
Real quick follow up on the Chekhov's gun situation. In Russian, it's actually referred to as Chekhov's rifle, which I think is cooler. But I don't think it refers to an actual gun, like from a Chekhov story or whatever. It's just a concept, and it's a metaphor or whatever.
We do love a good metaphor here on this podcast,
Especially from a Russian. There's those Russian writers.
Truly masters of their time. All right, let's get into the scores. Question number 1. True or false, sound can travel through space? That didn't fool either of you. Both said false. False is correct because sound needs a medium to travel through. And there's no
I will
medium
have
in
one
the vacuum of
nitpick.
space.
I have one nitpick with that question, though.
Okay,
You
nit.
didn't say like outer space. You said space, and it's not clear whether it's just like. All right, never mind. It's fine. Keep going.
Okay. I mean, you both got it right anyway, so...
Sure. Doesn't matter.
All right. Question 2. Ellen Ripley is the last survivor of what star freighter? Some guy with a mic, you said the SS Galaxy. Matt, you said the Nostradamus. You're very close. Ellen Ripley is the last
it's
survivor
fucking
of the
Nostromo.
Nostromo.
Damn it.
Yep.
Ah.
All right.
Won't
Still
that
1
teach
to
us?
1. Question number 3. Who designed the alien in Alien? Our co-host said Steven Spielberg, and our guest said H.R. Geiger. You're correct. It is H.R. Geiger.
Nice.
2 to 1.
Mm-hmm.
Humanoid robots such as Ash and Bishop are known as what designation of technology? Some guy with a mic, you said an android. Matt said a synth. The correct answer is synthetics or synths. I will take that as an answer.
Is synth the slur term? Did I just do a
Like
slur
like
on the
clankers?
podcast?
No, I don't. I don't think it's as negative.
Whoa,
There are
hard
negative
R,
connotations.
hard R.
It's a hard Y there, dude.
All right, I'm done with this game now. Question number 5: What planet did the distress call originate from? An alien. You both got
Oh,
it wrong.
Did it? Anyway? Whatever. Keep going.
Yeah. Some guy with a mic said Omicron Persei 8 or something. Matt said Centauri 5. It is LV426.
Oh, darn it. Of course, it's LV426. How could I not have known that?
Yeah, fake fan. Anyway, as per usual, our guest wins 3-1.
As
How you
usual.
feel about that win? Yeah. All right. So today we are kicking off October, which is Halloween month, my favorite holiday, and we are talking about one of the greatest horror movies of all time, my favorite horror movie, Alien. There's a lot can be said about Alien, but I think one of its greatest strengths is its suspense that is built through the pacing of its cuts and its set design. Any thoughts about why you guys think it's great, maybe not great, before I get into my whole spiel about it?
Mike, you want to go first?
So I'll address this the best way, in the most simple way that I can. it's good. I think that this particular IP is good. It makes for a wonderful story. It makes for a believable fear, and I'm sure you'll touch on this later. It set the standard for a lot of things going wrong in space, and also it spawned several very terrifying video games that as a 30-year-old man, still refuse to play.
Like what? Besides Alien Isolation, because
That would be the one.
That's one of them. Oh, that's the one. Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. I played.
That's the one in particular.
Yeah,
That is
I
one
have
of the
purchased
one.
it.
Yeah.
I have paid. I have paid money for it. I have it.
Yeah, I think I played maybe an hour of that, and then I noped out of there real quick.
Further than I got. You're a braver man than I.
I really
I don't think
wanted...
the alien had showed up at that point.
No, I don't. I really wanted to play that game, but I think what's pushing me off is that it focuses way too much on like the synthetics in that game instead of like the conflict with the alien. Like it's a great setup, great premise, great location, but it's also like 18 to 20 hours. Like maybe do a third of that. Like make it a 6-hour game, and then it'd be a lot more appealing, I think, for more people to pick up. But yeah. What about you, Matt?
I think so. I'll start off by saying that or I don't know if it's just like space horror in general, if it's just like alien in general. It's never been like super like scary to me. So I've kind of evaluated this on like, I don't know, more of a on less of an emotional level, I guess, if that makes sense. But something that always strikes me about this and about what was that? Alien Romulus, which was kind of recent, and less so with Alien Earth, but especially with the first one, was its rendition of the mundanity of, especially in the beginning up until basically the I think it's probably the chestburster dinner scene. And how the characters are written really plainly, kind of, and they're worried about like bonuses and stuff, and that it was really intriguing to see that in like sci-fi. And that in horror, I guess, too, because that's also a pretty rare thing. And then also like you said, the production design does a huge, it like in the horror aspect, but also in its sort of like, in its verisimilitude. Everything has a purpose, and you can see that things are like used often, and it's this like 70s retro future, like a lot of chunky buttons and stuff. And I remember I don't remember what sort of special feature thing it was, or if it was just some interview or whatever. Whoever the production designer was, they were saying that they had to like make up a like a kind of like a signage language sort of for the like different emergency symbols and stuff like that all around the ship, so that stuff meant something, and stuff means things consistently, like throughout, like I don't know, like warnings and labels and stuff like that.
Yeah, the set and the design of the Nostromo itself is so purely 70s futuristic in the most like grimy and best way possible. But before we move on,
it's like Star Wars grit turned up to 11, kind of.
Yeah, without any of the polish, but also this thing has been in service to the company for probably close to a decade at least. It gets around, but it still works and it does what it's supposed to do.
Yeah. In addition to them saying that they've been like in cryosleep for however many years, it looks like it's been floating through
I
space
think
for
it was
however many
supposed
years,
to be like
or
an
weeks or whatever it
8-year
is,
round trip,
Uh-huh.
I think. But before we move on, we will eventually talk about Alien Earth towards the end of the podcast, but there will not be any spoilers yet. We will announce it when we get there, so no worries. But we are talking about spoilers for the rest of the franchise, so if you've gotten this far, spoilers, I guess, for Alien through Romulus. But yeah, you mentioned you don't have like a personal connection to this genre. So my first exposure to the Alien franchise was actually in Disney World. We were in Hollywood Studios, and there is a ride that's like focused on like the history of movies and like iconic moments. And in the line, they were showing iconic movie trailers, and of course, on that screen pops up the trailer for Alien, and it's like a 2-minute in total trailer, but for the most part, it's just like really close up panning shots over an egg. It's not even the alien egg; it's just like a stereotypical looking egg, with the wailing sounds of the sirens going across and the letters for the title card popping up slowly. It was so eerie and effective. I instantly fell in love with this movie. Of course, it would be another like 5 to 10 years before I'd actually watch it. But
how old were you then when you saw the trailer?
Between 10 and 13, probably.
Okay.
So, yeah, and like I rewatched the trailer again today before this podcast, and again, it always makes me like the skin or the hairs on the back of my neck just stick up. Like it's so eerie, and like imagining yourself watching this in 1970, like you have no idea what the franchise is going to be, no idea what this movie is about. You're probably really confused, like why is it just this egg, or what's going on? And then it cuts to the quick cuts of people running through corridors and like people spazzing out. You can tell it's a horror movie, but you have no idea it's going to be this masterpiece of a horror film.
Yeah, like I'm looking up 1970s horror movies, and it's like Halloween, The Exorcist, Texas Chainsaw, Wicker Man.
Yeah, I mean 70s
like
was
all goats in their own right, but like sci-fi horror, I don't know. Like I don't know if Solaris counts as sci-fi horror, but like nothing really like this. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think the closest we get to a sci-fi horror film after Alien and outside of the Alien franchise is maybe, I just said the Sam Neill Event Horizon.
Yeah. That was like in the 90s. That like took a bit to get to it too.
Yeah, so like I don't know, it still feels like a one of a kind franchise, because like I think things have tried to come close to it since then, but you just cannot beat this. And I'm not sure what's so special about it, because it is, when it boils down to it, it's a slasher set in space. But you have, I think it's the opening half hour, because again, nothing happens really in that first half hour that's particularly
People
scary.
Wake up, they eat, I guess.
But it is so tense throughout all of it, because you have really slow establishing, can I speak today? you have really slow establishing shots of the Nostromo even before anyone wakes up. So you're getting used to the space and the eerie quietness of it, the efficiency of the machines in like autopilot mode. It's like a really quiet score that, I don't know, it's everything is working in combination with itself to create this atmosphere of uneasiness. And again, you have no reason to feel uneasy. Everything is smooth sailing at this point in the film. It's the beginning.
Yeah, I guess, more so like an expectation that this is a horror film and nothing's happening. Yeah.
Yeah, but even if you look at it as a strictly science fiction film, like, you get this uneasiness. Same with the uneasiness that I get with 2001. Like,
That
maybe that's
fill
just
you with
because
joy?
But yeah, where was that? And then you get the distress signal flashing up on the screen that's against an empty space helmet. Like, so iconic there. They replicated that for Romulus as well. And then, of course, the people wake up and you get your, as you mentioned, their like really like everyday person dialogue there. Setting these people up as actual characters with actual motivations and worries. And then you get into the absolute over the top, like, not body horror, but like, I guess it's similar to body horror with Geiger's designs, just so organic, industrial feeling. It's to the architecture of the Wishbone ship. It is the atmosphere, I think, to me, is part of what makes this such an effective horror film once it gets into it. Because again, even like the sirens towards the end of the film, it sounds like someone's wailing and screaming. Like, who designed this ship? Yeah, like, it's a self-destruct, so you want urgency there. But that just makes it feel like someone is actually on the intercom screaming as this.
We're all gonna die! Well, actually, no, I'll what do you, I don't know, do you have anything to say, Mike? I feel like we've been...
Not so much at this point. No. You're painting a very wonderful picture.
What? Getting back to a previous question, how much of this franchise have you actually seen? Now that we've established that you got one question right in trivia.
Not much.
Could you be more specific? I don't know.
Yeah.
No, not really.
Okay.
Do you not even know what you've seen?
I have seen bits and pieces of one of the movies. And then I was like, people are streaming this game. I should stream this game. And I thought I should play the game a little bit first before I stream it. And just the essence of the horror that the game sets on the precipice of, just like you're describing in the film, of like, when does the horror start, is such a horrible note factor that I'm like, nah, I'm good. I'm just gonna sit here and play Stardew Valley.
Another underrated horror classic.
Yeah, dude, when you get into those caves, oh my god.
Oh yeah, Clint.
I've never played Stardew Valley.
Yeah. Would you believe me if I said that was Ridley Scott's first film? Alien, not Stardew Valley.
Okay.
Thank you for clarifying.
Yeah, just in case there's any confusion.
I mean,
because I'm like
the way that you're phrasing the question, yes, but otherwise no.
I'm Googling this just to make sure that I'm correct. Okay, so his directorial debut was The Duelist in 1977, but then his next film was Alien in 1979. So, for all intents and purposes, this is A, what put him on the map, and B, his first like massive production.
I'm assuming The Duelist is a period piece. That sounds like a period piece.
That's what it sounds like by the title, but
Uh-huh.
I don't think I know anything
Okay.
about that film.
Huh. Interesting. Interesting guy doing period piece epics and sci-fi. Like
Well, I mean,
classics.
Alien's also a period piece. We just haven't gotten there yet.
I guess that's, you haven't gotten to that period.
It's a period piece of what space travel would have looked like 50 years ago, but also I think this film
100
is set in
years in the
21,
future,
22,
whatever.
something like that. Yeah.
Star Wars is a
and
period
it's
piece, technically.
yeah, it is set a long time ago.
Yeah,
But it's
it's a Victorian.
it's funny how, because you run into this issue with every film set, like sci-fi film set in the future, where eventually the technology that we have today when you watch the film far exceeds what they thought we would be at in the far distant future. However, with this film and its surrounding franchise, it works that into it. Um, Obviously, the first three Alien films, kind of in its own league, especially you look at the difference from Alien and Prometheus. Um, Prometheus has far better technology, more advanced and sophisticated stuff. But it's supposed to happen, like, I think maybe 40 to 50 years before Alien. But they wrote Alien, they're like, oh yeah, this is basically a space trucking crew on this giant cargo ship. So it's allowed to look a bit beat up, a bit run down to quote unquote modern standards. And I don't know if that was an intentional choice to make it seem a bit more timeless whenever someone watches the film, but it worked no matter what. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, Alien was not a one and done. A few years later, I think close to 8 or 9, James Cameron made Aliens. And I think a lot of people prefer Aliens. And to me,
in terms of like enjoy, like pure enjoyment, I mean, I'll take an action movie or a horror movie, I guess. I don't know.
yeah, I mean, from what I've gathered watching numerous video essays on this franchise, I think home media and like movies like screened on, like, went out to television, that probably had a lot to do with it, because if you could catch a rerun of Aliens, because it's a more widely marketable film, because it's like an action film rather than a horror. So I think more networks would show it. But to me, I do think Alien is better. Again, you almost can't compare them because yeah. But in terms of which film I appreciate more as a film, as a genre, I think Alien is. Alien is by far one of the best horror movies of all time. Aliens is a great action film, but you have so much competition there. Like
that's true. Yeah, because
when ranks
when
up there, but I don't know if it
Aliens?
is one of the best.
Aliens was 86.
Yeah.
So yeah, 80s action movies. Although it's still, I guess it's still kind of different than the sort of one-man army type action movies around that time.
It's more Predator adjacent than like
testosterone fueled. You know.
Then you have. Let's continue talking briefly about the rest of the franchise. Then I do want to hop back to Alien to talk about the different cuts of the film. But after Aliens,
did a Blade Runner with this?
Yeah.
Okay.
So after Aliens, you had Alien Cubed.
Is that just a thing that Ridley Scott does?
Yeah.
Or is it like early career stuff?
I mean, in general, it depends. My opinion of it as a filmmaker, a director's cut or an alternate cut ultimately depends on how much studio interference there was in your original vision. Yeah, let's just jump into this now. For Alien, I think the theatrical cut is the cut he wanted to make. The director's cut was released when the box set of either DVD or Blu-rays, no, it would have had to have been DVDs, was announced, and they pushed that out. So like, hey, we want another cut to boost sales for this. So Ridley Scott went back, changed a lot of scenes in small ways. Like he added, I think, 5-ish minutes total to the runtime, but he cut out a lot of the establishing shots. Like he made it a much more faster paced film, which to me does not work at all. Like there are very few changes between those cuts that I actually agree with. One of them is a reaction between Ripley and what's her face? The only other female in that film.
I don't know what her name is.
Yeah, give me like 20 seconds. I'll think of it. Anyway, it's right after Kane gets the face hugger and Dallas. They're trying to come back in the ship. Ripley says no, it's against protocol. But Ash lets him in anyway. So as they take Kane to the med bay, the other actress, she comes up and just slaps Ripley. Like there's an altercation there. I think that would have been great to see in the theatrical because it adds tension between those two characters, even more than there already are. And it would go and service her character more because it wouldn't seem like she's just a coward and someone who's just rippled with fear throughout the entire film. Like she has more emotions than that. But yeah, a lot of the great things that I like about it, like the opening, like it was trimmed up for time, shorter time. And I'm so torn on the infamous Cocoon scene. I'm sure you guys know about it, but the Cocoon scene, if you don't know, is a segment of the film where the Nostromo is actively in self-destruct mode. There's a 10-minute countdown to where Ripley has to get back to the escape shuttle and leave. The alien is blocking her path, so she has to go back and stop the self-destruct. But there's like a 5-minute cutoff to where after 5 minutes you cannot turn the self-destruct off. So she gets there and she's like 2 seconds too late. So she's locked in this thing. She has 5 minutes to get to the shuttle and leave. On her way back to the shuttle, she takes a turn and she finds this room that has been alien organicified, if that makes sense. But there are just slime and eggs and cocoons and bulbous masses all over the walls. And in there, Dallas is trapped to a wall, still alive. And Ripley's like, what's going on? And Dallas is like, you have to kill me. Like, that was Brett over there. And it pans over to this gel figure. Like, you could tell he's being decomposed and repurposed, potentially into an alien egg, like the facehugger was in. And then Ripley torches the place, kills them both, and makes her way back to the shuttle. That's a great scene. However, it takes place right in between that very time-sensitive stretch of the film to where she just does not have time to A, stop, to B, talk to them, or to C, torch the place. Because, like, like, ultimately, they're going to die anyway. So, rather it's in an explosion, which would probably be faster, to be honest. I don't know. I think it was a good decision to leave it out of the theatrical cut. I'm glad that we're able to see it as a deleted scene. But yeah, I think that it was ultimately a good decision because it just it doesn't ruin the pace of the film, but it definitely takes you out of the tension of that sequence a bit.
Well, yeah, and in a part where pacing is key too.
Yeah.
I think I guess if we're sticking with Alien for a bit, one thing that has, I'm sure, been written about for fucking ever, is the manner in which the aliens inflict horror. If that makes sense, it's and in combination with the sort of mechanic / organic style of Geiger, and it's very very like sexual in nature. The like curves and lines and stuff is there's a lot of goop. There's a lot of and especially initially it's I think initially and most in the film it's the men that get things forced down their throat and birthed out of their stomach.
Which it's great that you bring that up, because the one time where it is kind of inverse, Lambert is her name, Lambert. During her and Parker's death, you see the shot of the alien tail with the stinger go up between what is supposed to be her legs. That's a shot of Brett's legs. That happens during Brett's death, but they splice it into her death to make it seem like they were going that direction. So it's very cool, interesting that you bring that up, because I think originally that's where they were going with all of it. I don't think Lambert was supposed to be implied to be assaulted like that. I think originally her death, there are a couple of versions of her death. I think one, she hides in a closet and dies of fear. Another one I heard where she like gets sucked out into space through a tiny hole, similar to one of the alien deaths in Resurrection. But yeah, a lot of interesting symbolism there with the alien and the iconic like space jockey with what we now know to be the engineers in the Wishbone ship. Like what's going on with that? Like it's got like a boned rib cage, the explosion there, and that weird elephant skull. But it turns out in Prometheus, it's not a skull; it's a mask and a suit. Whatever. I don't necessarily think that change was warranted. I like the just mystery of what it is in Alien, but yeah.
And I like almost like a different type of body horror than what I usually think of when I think of body
like
horror.
The Fly or something like that.
Yeah, like The Fly or The Substance or whatever. It's a like instead of like a loss of agency over your own body, it
just kills you.
Yeah, I guess, but it's more so the fear of like
the unknown,
I guess, or just like something just like violently invading your own body.
Yeah. I mean, unfortunately, the franchise strays away from horror the longer it goes on. I mean, I think it tries to recapture that, but plot reasons and other stuff, maybe it's even like updated like filmmaking techniques, it never hits the same as it does in Alien. But how are we looking at for time? We've got a little bit of time left.
We're good. We're doing good.
I'm at 40 minutes.
Yeah. Yeah, Alien Cubed was rough. I think it's not even called a director's cut, it's an assembly cut. Um,
Yeah,
it was David
David Fincher wants
Lynch.
nothing to do with that
Fincher.
movie.
Yeah.
Oh, imagine a David Lynch alien movie. That would be awesome. That would
Yeah.
actually, that would be sick.
Yeah. Yeah, like for Aliens, there are a couple things. I think the two cuts are more synonymous with each other. I think one thing that I'm glad they did not include in the theatrical version are like the initial shots of Newt and the families and the colonization of that planet. Um, I think, and then they find the face hugger. Like, we know what happens. We don't need to see it again. And it also adds to the mystery of in the horror of the unknown of, wow, I guess there were people living here, which we see through the tarnished set design. We don't need to see this as an operational planet beforehand. It's not needed. But James Cameron was forced to cut scenes in time because the executives were like, we want this under, I think it was like sub 2 hours so we can fit the most screenings in a theater per day. That was the studio's reasoning for that, which is really fascinating, but at the same time, it's really frustrating as a creator. It's like, no, no, let this be good how it is.
Yeah.
Alien 3, I think, was interesting that they tried to do something new. I think my favorite parts of it were just the shock of Newt and Bishop and Hicks being dead right from the start. They say don't travel with Matt Damon. Do not travel with Sigourney Weaver. You have an even worse track record. Even though I think Hicks' death was retconned in one of the
You could be a cool
Colonial
blue guy,
Marine
though.
games. Yeah, not even. No, she dies, right? No, she dies that time. Yeah.
She does, but then Sigourney Weaver, the human, plays their character's daughter in The Way of Water. So.
Oh my god.
It's very weird.
I've only seen the first Avatar, so whatever.
They're re-releasing Way of Water in the theaters for like a week before Fire and Ash or whatever the hell it's called.
Oh my god, there's a third one now? Okay.
Yeah, there's going to be 5.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
All right. Are they really trying to turn this into a Last Airbender kind of thing? They got water, they got fire now.
I don't know. It kind of seems like it. I'm the only reason I'm excited for these movies is to so that they will each individually like perfect some element of like visual effects, which they basically did with water, and hopefully they're going to do with fire, like rendering. Because the visual effects in those movies are fucking insane.
Just using the Avatar movies as proving grounds for better and better?
That's what James Cameron does.
I think that was what the biggest selling point for the original one was.
Yeah.
Kinda, yeah. That's the only reason I see those movies. I mean, I have only seen them once. That's a lie. I saw Avatar, the first one, in theaters like 3 times.
Didn't a lot of people commit suicide after the first movie?
What? I don't know. Was it like
Taking
Avatar suicide effect or something?
You guys talk about Alien. I have some things to look up here.
Okay, we might have another bonus episode coming out with some content here, depending on if we go off on another 8-minute tangent on Avatar. But yeah, they kind of stray away from horror. There wasn't really, Resurrection wasn't really too much horror stuff. I mean, that was just a Joss Whedon movie.
I feel like that's tough to stay with it in sci-fi.
Yeah.
One, because if you're doing anything in the sci-fi realm, I guess to me the more interesting sci-fi things are not horror, although it like can be, but and maybe those realms haven't really been explored yet. If it's like, because like you said, Alien's a like slasher movie in space. If there's like other types of horror movies in space, if that would like work with alien stuff.
Yeah.
But like I don't know, normal sci-fi stuff about like the nature of humanity and consciousness or whatever, and you know, stuff that delves like with the synths and the cyborgs and shit like that in like Alien Earth that it gets into a little bit, a very little bit.
Yeah.
Is sort of more on the sci-fi side than the horror side.
Yeah, and like Prometheus, I think, is the first one that truly tries to get back to its roots. Again, I saw the trailer for it when it was out on TV, and I was thrilled with it. I was really looking forward to it. I was horrified by the trailer, I think. I don't remember the trailer, but I remember being like, this is a horror movie I want to see.
Oh, okay,
and I don't
really
usually enjoy horror films. Um, but having watched it recently for the first time, it is more on the science fiction side in that it is an exploration of aliens in general and different species and planets. Uh, it gets a little bit alien slasher-y in the last like 10 minutes, but not really. Like I still enjoyed it, but it wasn't an alien feeling alien film.
Hmm.
I think
Isn't it sort of
Romul
more about like creators and their creations kind of
yeah,
thing?
yeah. Because like you have the whole like engineers, like did they create humans? But you also have um David, the synthetic, and Guy Pearce, Wayland. I think he plays Wayland in this one.
Oh, cool.
Like creator versus creation, and then that whole thing with them, the engineers, everything. I think Romulus is the closest alien feeling thing we got outside of one episode of Alien Earth, which we'll touch on in a minute. But even then, there are some great things about Romulus. And one of them, I think, this might even just be how we saw it. Because, Matt, you and I saw this in, was it Dolby Cinemas?
Was it?
Because the sound design.
I think, yeah, it was Dolby.
Yeah.
It was Dolby, yeah.
Yeah. Like when the ship exits the atmosphere and does its takeoff, the entire theater was shaking. That was fantastic. On the final bit of the film, when the bay doors open up, the cargo doors, whatever, and you're supposed to be like out in space, the absence of sound in that moment was really powerful as well. But then you had some other stuff like AI Ian Holmes.
Yeah.
I didn't like. I appreciated what they were trying to do, but I didn't like the mode in which they did it. Like it felt very impersonal and corporate.
Apparently, it was tweaked a little bit between its theatrical release and the like release on VOD or streaming or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't remember if it was. I'm sure it was probably a bit better, but probably not significantly.
No.
Yeah.
But Alien Earth is the most recent installment in the Alien franchise. You and I also got to see the first episode a week early for their special event early screening thing. And I thought that was a great event.
Yeah, that
was
really cool.
Through
I've never been to one
Fandango.
of those.
Yeah, they released they were showing the first episode of Alien Earth a week early in select theaters. We went, we got free popcorn and drinks, got a poster, saw the first episode. It was a great time. I guess we'll mention spoilers now for Alien Earth. it was about on par quality wise with how I was thinking it was going to be. There are some parts that I loved. I was over the top with. It was all that I had ever hoped for. And other parts I was just like, yeah, it's all right. Like, I think its biggest thing it was trying to do was introduce a new kind of synth. Like, even in the opening
Yeah.
credits, you have like an explanation of a synthetic, fully synthetic. A cyborg is a 50-50. And the new beings that they were making were fully synthetic bodies, but a human consciousness inside.
Mm-hmm.
The first bit of the show went into that. And look, the actors all did an amazing job. I 100% bought that everyone was who they were supposed to be, especially the 50-50s. I don't really remember what they're supposed to be called, but they are adults acting as children, and they did that phenomenally.
Oh yeah, their children acting is the best. It's
Yeah.
really funny and really endearing, and sometimes very scary when it's like, oh, you just traumatized this child for life,
Yeah.
which happens multiple times.
Yeah, like is it Anash, the one guy who
Arush.
the cyborg talks with?
Yeah,
his acting in particular,
yeah.
like the fear of the I mean, if you know anything about like acting, a lot of acting is different choices you have to make. Like, let's say for instance, I want a cookie, but someone says no. All right, well then how do I change my tactic to get a cookie? Do I like be like, hey, I'll be your best friend if you get me this cookie, or like I'm gonna threaten you if you... It's all about that. And his choices that he made and how he conveyed that childlike sense was over the top. I was blown away with that acting. One of the other things that I really, really enjoyed, I know I've mentioned this so many times to you, the 5th episode in particular. So the first episode starts, and it feels very much like Alien. You're on a space cruiser. Some of the very same shots.
And it's already going down.
Yeah, like you
I
get
think
a little
is how
bit
basically
of
it's-
personalities. Yeah, I think you have like 5
yeah,
minutes to get to
yeah,
kind
and
of
then
know
it cuts-
people, and then
and then it cuts to
they go into cryo sleep, and then you have like 2 or 3 quick cuts of horror stuff going down. So, and then it picks back up to some of them waking up and having to try and course correct or survive. I think it was a really great use of like editing where like we know exactly what happens in between the 2 points. We don't need to see it. It would be great to see it as like a standalone either episode or special feature, just like a 45-minute Alien film. But the horror in the first episode of the ship going down, the alien outside of Mother, and the cyborg be like, all right, the ship's going down, I need the crash room. He gets in there, the alien breaks in. He's so confined in this claustrophobic space. You don't know if the crash is going to kill him. Is the alien going to break in? Great moments. But then the 5th episode comes, and you get the rest of that scene.
Alien
it's a
movie.
45-minute Alien special. Yes, it is exactly what I wanted to see after seeing the first episode. Like, oh, I wish we had seen that. Yeah, I thought it was great. You could probably think, oh, it's just another Alien thing. We've seen it. Sure, but it was really good.
I think that, there are enough different things, to me at least, having not watched Alien very recently, for it to be warranted and exciting in the middle of the season.
Yeah, I mean, it also, the show respects its audience's intelligence level because we're not shown things we already know. Like, I think the show
that's right,
expects, the show expects you to know the basics about Alien and the universe. So that was, it alleviated a lot of potentially frustrating things that could have happened, but didn't, because
Right.
It's like, all right, the people who are watching this know the franchise. They're not coming into this cold turkey. They know what they're getting into.
Mhm.
I'm curious to hear. So, some guy with a mic. Do you know anything about Alien Earth? Have you heard anything about it?
I got nothing.
Okay.
I got nothing at all.
How's it going on the
So-
Avatar depression research?
So there's some statistics that are a little worrying.
Uh-oh.
I'll give you a brief synopsis because it's not worth being an extra.
Okay.
While no documented mass suicides occurred, there are accounts of some Avatar viewers experiencing severe emotional distress, including depression and suicidal thoughts after the film's release, leading to a phenomenon known as, and I quote,
Feeling blue.
post-Avatar depression or Avatar blues. These
the
fans
fuck
expressed
up.
a profound longing for the fictional world of Pandora and felt that their own world was dull and meaningless by comparison. Important note from the American Medical Society. Not a medical condition. The term
it's not
post-Avatar
medical.
depression is not medically recognized condition, but is an observable phenomenon described by viewers.
Huh.
Okay. That's a lot of censoring I'm going to have to bleep
Interesting.
out, but okay.
Again, this episode's about fucking the editor over.
Yeah, join the club.
Yeah, who's editing this one?
I think we're just going to post all
Hey,
three of our
hey.
individual...
You know what? We're gonna post it. I'll post one to Spotify. You'll post yours to YouTube. Matt, you post yours on Twitter, and everyone has to listen to all three of them simultaneously.
Yeah.
I don't have a Twitter.
Great.
Well, you know what? Post it on your Tumblr then.
Sounds good.
But yeah, they did something interesting. The main cyborg synth 50-50 chick, Wendy, can talk to the alien. And by the
Yeah.
end of the show,
It's unclear.
but it's pretty much like their ally and like guard and attack dog. I kind of
Yeah.
love it, even though it's really stupid. Like,
It is very dumb. I wonder. I don't know.
I wasn't
wonder how
expecting
almost
much out of the show to
B-movie
begin with.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
So maybe that's why I'm not as critical about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of interesting choices.
Yeah,
do you want to
guess
talk about
one
how
thing-
they end every episode?
Oh yeah. Well, before that, just one thing I will say about the end of the series. So most of it takes place on this island, where
Mhm.
this boy genius guy, what's the Prodigy? There's like these
Yeah.
competing corporations, Wayland Yutani, some other one, and another one, or
There
something.
are like 5, maybe. Like,
yeah,
the
yeah. There's
there are
like
no
the 5
governments.
families or
It is
whatever,
just
right?
these.
Yeah,
there are no
I mean,
governments.
it's like cyberpunk shit, right? It's corporation, corpo government or whatever the fuck. So yeah, so one of these new ones is from this boy genius guy. He's a little shit. I don't know what his name is, but yeah. So he has an island where he made these 50/50s, I guess we'll call them. And there's this running throughout the whole show. This running Peter Pan allegory,
Analogy
I
or
guess.
whatever.
Yeah, it's like not even subtle. He literally reads Peter Pan over the loudspeaker of the island, and he calls her Wendy, and the rest of
And the
them are
lost
other
children
boy-
or something.
Yeah, the lost boys and stuff. So it's like great, cool. You read a book. So yeah, most of it takes place on the island, and then at like everyone like at a point, everyone's like, we got to get out of here. So I was thinking, oh, cool. The second season, we're gonna expand a bit, or maybe not even a bit, maybe a lot in scope, and take this elsewhere. But then the
Yeah, like
last
for being
episode,
called Alien
yeah,
Earth, it's more like Alien
like
Island.
Alien Island, yeah, yeah, yeah. But then the last episode, everyone gets tranked, and then they get locked up, on the island's like jail or whatever, and then stuff happens, and then it's kind of flip the script, and all the humans are that did the bad scientists are in the jail, and all the kids are gonna run the island. Um, and that
With
kind
their
of
pet
bummed me out.
xenomorph.
Yes, their pets, xenomorph, and its baby. Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and that kind of bummed me out, because it sort of implies that the second season will also take place on the island, uh, which I don't know. I mean, I'm sure there's other stuff I could do, um, but
Yeah, I mean,
it not being very clear, kind of sucks.
yeah, I mean, like you said, like we've talked about this. You said it felt like a penultimate episode instead of a finale, because they are quite
Yeah,
literally setting up for another encounter with Utani's forces coming to the island.
yeah. There, she's riding the Valkyries in on her
Mm-hmm.
vertibirds, um, as the last couple scenes are happening or whatever, and then she doesn't get there, and yeah, um,
Like
but
it still,
oh, sorry, yeah,
yeah, still like a ton of unanswered questions. Like Timothy Oliphant's character, the synthetic Kirsch, I think his name is.
mm-hmm.
Uh, Great portrayal, but he's not entirely on uh, the side of the island because he is aware that the kids needed to infect one of
Like
the scientists with an egg and go
yeah,
take him
he's
to
been
the
listening
cyborg.
to the
Yeah.
yeah,
So whose side
um,
is he really on? Um, the cyborg in the show was great. One of my favorite original characters. I mean, they're all
mm,
original characters in this, but yeah, overall, I'm not completely disappointed, but I am worried about
slightly
how they're
deflated,
going to
I
take
guess,
this.
from the
Yeah,
yeah. Um, so the at the end of each episode, let me find the playlist. There it is. At the end of each episode, there is well, actually, and in the middle of one, there
yeah.
is a
One had
sick
two drops.
yeah, yeah. There's a sick needle drop, of usually metal song, or just like
90s
hard
to
rock. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, very yeah, 90s, early 2000s metal. Um, and then alt J's in there in the middle for some reason. Um, but I've got Mob Rules for the first episode. Or sorry, Black Sabbath, Tool, with Stinkfist, which is an interesting choice, but I guess that sort of makes sense with the whole sexual metaphor of the alien, in general. So I don't know. Metallica, Jane's Addiction, Smashing Pumpkins, Godsmack, Queens of the Stone Age, and Pearl Jam. Um, yeah, took me by surprise, especially the second episode, because I fucking love that album, Anima. It's one of my favorite albums when I went through my Tool phase. Um, yeah, so it was very surprising to hear it in this alien horror sci-fi show.
Even after the first episode in the theater, you and I looked at each other like, "Are we listening to the same thing? Like, what is this?"
Right, yeah.
No, it's a lot of interesting choices that they did. Honestly, I'm here for it. I'll check the second season out. I mean, I'm hoping
Yeah,
they'll.
I'll watch a couple episodes to see where the direction is going.
Yeah, but
Or I might just watch Alien again.
yeah, I mean, it's also funny because this show takes place years before Alien even happens. So one of my
Mm.
like I'm torn because in universe, like, yeah, this can still be the first time this crew is learning about the alien and all that stuff, but it's the same company, so yes, it makes sense that the company would want to send more ships out to where they know the alien is. So it's not it I think it negatively affects Alien because it's not this new discovery or this unknown thing. Like someone somewhere knows exactly what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
While these characters in this film, they still don't know except for Ash. Overall, I think it lessens the shock value and mystery of the story.
Yeah,
But I think that's
I
an issue with the franchise in general because, again, Prometheus happens like
timelines seem kind
40,
of messy
yeah.
in general with all the alien stuff. Yeah.
So, I mean, great if you want to still think of Alien and maybe the first 2 or 3 films in the franchise as standalone things. But as a whole, unfortunately, I do think the more and more they add to this franchise, the more it lessens the effect of what's come before it.
Yeah, I think that's tough to do, especially with horror. It just not really like law of diminishing returns, but just the more you put into the basket, the less the singular thing stands out.
Yeah, I mean, a comparison. I mean, like Friday the 13th movies. I think they've gone chronologically in order. I don't think they've ever gone back and be like, oh, here's a film about Pamela Voorhees before the original Friday the 13th. I don't think they've ever backtracked.
Don't give them ideas. I'm sure that's coming.
Oh God. But like this one, this
that seems like a very
definitely...
in the line of like when they did that Nurse Ratched series from fucking Cuckoo's Nest. The whole series of Sarah Paulson playing Nurse Ratched.
Not needed.
Yeah.
But yeah, this franchise very all over the place time wise, and also continuity wise because Wayland is, and then you have Wayland in Prometheus, and then somewhere along the line there's Bishop, who is supposed to look like Peter Wayland, but he doesn't. But Bishop is the synthetic in Aliens, but also supposedly Bishop himself, like Wayland, shows up in Alien Cubed. If that was another synthetic, probably wasn't the real Wayland. But there's that discrepancy, and then if you want to take into the Alien vs. Predator movies, which are not canon to the Alien franchise, there's that to think about as well. So you can probably pick and choose what you want to view as part of this continuity. I think some people probably don't view Prometheus or Covenant as canon, but I don't know. Franchise that's had some really high highs, some really mediocre mediums. I just hope Alien Earth doesn't end up being a low.
Yeah.
Is there, as we start to wrap up, is there anywhere in particular you guys want to see this franchise? What direction you want to see this franchise take? Do you want it to stay its course? Do you want to see it try something way more out there than adding 90s metal drops at the end of episodes? Like,
I think just by the virtue of having 90s metal drops at the end of episodes, that probably indicates a less sci-fi horror route and more I guess more aliens than Alien. I don't know what that balance is gonna be. But yeah, and I wonder if they'll change genres for the needle drops. If it'll be like hip hop or something. Season 2. Biggie comes in.
All right. Any ideas from you, some guy with a mic?
So,
Oh my God!
I'm-
Shut the fuck up, dude! You have been talking nonstop this episode.
we should cut the episode right there. just so shut the fuck up and just like end the just cut it all. We're done. That's it. Editing's over. That would be the best ending to any of our episodes.
I'll talk to the editor, see how he thinks about it.
He's a pretty good guy. I think he'll go with it.
I think he's a bit
But
of
no,
an asshole.
nothing for me. I've enjoyed this basically. I said for me, it's been a TED talk, which I've greatly enjoyed. I might actually give the Alien game another play, since it's spooky season, and maybe I'll record it, and maybe I'll do something to make it like bonus content or something.
Ah.
Ooh.
We'll figure something out.
All right. With that, I don't really have any other final thoughts. I think we touched on a lot of this franchise. I know we didn't go into detail about Aliens or Alien Cubed or really any of the other films at all. We focused mostly on Alien and Alien Earth. But if you want to get some more analysis about the other stuff, let us know. We don't really have any plans to do that at this time, but if there's demand for it, we will make it happen. Where you let us know that you want to hear that stuff, you ask? Well, you can either drop it down in the comments of this episode as you're listening to it, or you can shoot us an email over at twocraccoonspodcast@gmail.com. That's 2 C's, 2 O's, no spaces, and no facehuggers for that one. But
Do you have that?
with
I don't
that,
have that emoji, so I can't do that.
oh, well, good thing it's not required. But with that, I've been Some Guy with the Hat. Thank you all so much for listening to this at one. We appreciate you sticking around, listening to it. Stay tuned for more horror and horror-adjacent themed episodes this month. But with that, that's all I've got.
And I've been some guy with a microphone.
No, you're done. You're done. Shut it. No.